Would you like to be somebody who understands the benefits of being self-conscious? Then listen to this entire video where I explain how actually being self-conscious does have some upsides to it, whereas it's usually just seen as a negative trait. So, before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. Okay, so self-consciousness is a heightened sense of self-awareness. It's a state in which you are very occupied with yourself. And typically, being self-conscious is assumed to be a negative trait connected with anxiety and insecurities. Indeed, if you're very self-conscious, it might be because you really care about how other people judge you, so you're really trying to make sure you look good, let's say. For example, you may be very insecure about your body, thinking because your body might not be sexy enough, you might be thinking that. Hence, you always want to make sure that others perceive you as being good looking, because if they perceive you as unattractive, it would really hurt you because it would hit this sort of deep wound. And they would be confirming an insecurity about you, which isn't. Yeah, it's like I said, it's essentially a deep internal wound, the insecurity, and they would be poking the wound by confirming your insecurity, and that's painful. They would be confirming that your body is not sexy, let's say. Thus, you really try to avoid this, and you do so by making sure you always look good. To achieve this persistent good look, you need to invest a fair amount of your attention into your appearance. And this is self-consciousness, that you're always occupying yourself with how you look, let's say. So you need to continually be conscious of yourself, how you are looking, what you're wearing, etc. And your mind and thoughts are very occupied with your looks. And this is a form of self-consciousness, but this is quite undesirable to a degree, because the self-consciousness can easily spiral into self-doubt and anxiety. And the reason you're self-conscious in the first place was because you're quite insecure about how you look. And this insecurity can easily take hold of you in the moments when you're self-conscious and nudge you towards this negative self-image of yourself. So you're actually very self-conscious, but you're self-conscious of your downsides and how you're not good looking, let's say. However, this is the punchline of the video. There is a potential benefit to self-consciousness, which I have experienced myself a lot and has brought me an awful lot of value. When you're very self-conscious, you learn what behavior and what speech you use to cover up your insecurities and how to protect your low self-esteem. Of course, you need to be very conscious of this, but if you're self-conscious, typically I would say, not necessarily, you need sort of to be self-conscious of how you look, let's say, and be conscious of what you're thinking when you're self-conscious, let's say. So that's important. So you basically learn the behavior and speech that cover up your insecurities and sort of protect your ego, because you're aware of it due to your self-consciousness, which is very beneficial. And you know what behavior you resort to when you're in an uncomfortable situation, for example, a social interaction. And you build this knowledge on body language and speech about yourself. For example, for myself, I know that when I used to be very nervous or uncomfortable, I would sometimes put my hand against my neck like this, like if I'm talking but I feel really uncomfortable, I do kind of this, and I became very aware of it, and now I'm not really so uncomfortable in social situations anymore, thankfully. But I immediately detect now an uncomfortable feeling in somebody else when they place their hand against their neck and they do this specific movement where they might sort of look away and do this. And I think the background of this gesture is actually, it's a gesture of protection, because your neck is a very fragile or important aspect of your body, because if your neck is injured, you might, a lot of important, I don't know if they're veins or arteries, whatever, run through your neck. You die, essentially, if it gets slashed. Hence, you protect it. And in an uncomfortable situation, your body might be detecting a threat or a danger, and hence you sort of move your arm up to protect it in case a danger attacks you. So that's where this, I think the intuition behind this gesture comes from. And I like to relate self-consciousness to the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And because before Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, they were not conscious. However, after eating the apple, they become conscious. And along with the birth of consciousness, malevolence, evil, and pain were also born. And pain and malevolence were born because suddenly Adam and Eve knew their own suffering and pain because they were conscious, and hence were also able to inflict it upon other people. Adam and Eve knew what hurt themselves and consequently knew how to hurt others because of that, because we're all human, let's say. And that is only due to self-consciousness. So the self-consciousness gave them the ability to detect their own pain and derive the knowledge on how to hurt others, let's say. And just like us, if we know how we behave in uncomfortable situations because we're very self-conscious of ourselves, and we know or ways we hide our insecurities, we automatically know how other people also might do it because they feel the same pain in the same manner as us. And of course, being hyper self-conscious has brought a fair amount of pain to my life. It has brought me anxiety and stress about myself, and my self-image had consumed my life and drained my energy whilst I could have been focusing on effective things like my career or family and friends. Thankfully, I've been able to overcome this anxiety and stress to a degree, and I'm less self-conscious now, despite being quite conscious and self-reflective still. But I haven't fully overcome it, of course, and thankfully I've been able to overcome it, and it's great because I still remember now how I behaved when I was insecure, and this is the benefit of self-consciousness. I was able to retain this knowledge on body language and speech, which I can apply now when interacting with other people. I still remember what was going through my head when I was trying to hide my insecurities and set up my ego and protect it. And hence now, when I'm in social situations, I can interpret other people, what's going on in their head with by their body language and the way they talk. Hence, I've really extracted a significant amount from years of excessive self-consciousness and anxiety. So, in conclusion, the benefit of self-consciousness is that you are aware of the body language and speech, so how people talk, that followed your anxiety and protecting your insecurities, and you learn how people behave in uncomfortable situations and thus can detect insecurities and low confidence in people. This may seem sort of a bit manipulative to know what other people's shortcomings are, but it is truly very useful. And you can use these people, you can give these people a helping hand if you detect like a low self-esteem in them, and you can give them advice and detect their insecurities which can help them, for example. And you obviously benefit if you know more about other people, and it helps you maneuver through life successfully. And it's connected to the problem of asymmetric information in that other people know more information about you and you know more information about yourself, let's say. They know more information about themselves, but if you know more about what they know, that can bring you a lot of value. And you can use that information on other people to your advantage. And of course, I don't condone manipulative behavior, but in some situations it can benefit you to know things about other people. And if you have a noble goal in life, you might come across difficult situations where knowing information about other people is beneficial and can help you achieve that noble, altruistic objective. So that has really high utility, I would say. And even in situations like dating, I can use it, or I can be conscious of how to behave in order to be perceived as confident. Even if I am confident, I can make sure I don't make mistakes, let's say. And I can also analyze behavior in girls, for example, or other men when they're sort of dating or in social situations. So that was the conclusion of this video on the benefit of self-consciousness. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. So that was it, and thank you for listening.